Here are 10 powerful homeschooling statistics to help you feel better about your decision to homeschool. Hi, I'm Cheryl, and I'm probably a lot like you, a hesitant homeschooler. I never imagined homeschooling my kids, but I knew the traditional school was not right for us. In 2023, I started a podcast to learn everything there is about homeschooling by interviewing homeschooling families. And by now, I've interviewed over 100 homeschooling families, and I am here to show you everything I have learned. What I discovered actually led me to quit my government job and fully embrace the life of a homeschooler. So let's dive in. Academic achievement. Did you know that homeschooled students score on average 15 to 30 percentile points higher on standardized tests? And they score higher than their public school peers, regardless of parents' educational level or household income. That's a crazy stat. And when you look at literacy rates, I totally get that. It makes total sense. Number 2, college success. Research shows that homeschooled students have a higher college GPA score than their traditionally schooled peers, and they're more likely to graduate college. And from the people that I've interviewed who have graduated kids, colleges actually love homeschoolers. They are so much more in tune with the world, what's going on around them. They are self-starters, and colleges really love homeschooling. So don't think for 1 minute that just because you homeschool, your child will not be going to college. Not that they should really want to go to college anyway. It's kind of a scam, isn't it? No. There's definitely certain areas where you need a college degree, but we shouldn't be pushing kids like we usually do. All right, I'm off on another tangent. Let's go. Number 3, individual attention. The student-teacher ratio in homeschool is like 1-to-1, but in a school setting, it's like 16-to-1, 20-to-1, 30-to-1. There's a lot of students and very few teachers. I think there's a teacher shortage right now too, so it's only getting worse. So you can't beat the ratio of the teacher to student in the homeschooled setting. Number 4, job readiness. Oh, if you homeschool, you won't know anything about the real world, right? You need to go to school to learn about the real world. Not so much. Studies show that homeschoolers are often better prepared for the workforce, possessing strong self-motivation, critical thinking, and time management skills. And if you think about it, when you go to school, the bell tells you where to go, your schedule tells you where to go, your teacher tells you what homework to do, what to read, what math problems to do. When you're homeschooled, you can kind of take that leisure with the time and what you're learning and build on it yourself. You're learning what interests you and you want to go further. So it makes total sense that homeschoolers have better job readiness skills than their publicly educated peers. Number 5, higher income potential. This is an interesting one. Research by the National Home Education Research Institute, yes, that's a thing, reveals that homeschooled adults are more likely to become entrepreneurs and report higher job satisfaction, often earning more than their traditionally schooled peers. I mean, that's a pretty crazy statistic, right? Everybody should be homeschooling. Who wants that for their kid? I do. All right, number 6, life satisfaction. Over 95% of homeschooled adults report being happy with their life choices and believe that homeschooling contributed to their overall well-being. I know some homeschoolers who graduated and then chose to homeschool their kids. I've also had many homeschooled students that are now adults homeschooling their kids on my podcast. And yes, I agree with this. Everyone I've talked to has a better life satisfaction. They sort of live in the moment and they're not running paycheck to paycheck and just staying in a position because that's what they're told to do. They want to make a difference. They want to better themselves. It makes total sense to me. Number 7, the socialization myth. If you homeschool your kids, they'll be weird. That may have been true at one time. I don't even know if it was true at one time. It was pushed by our government because they don't want you to homeschool. But I mean, everybody knows probably a homeschooler that was weird, but like there's a lot of public schooled kids that are weird. So, the socialization myth. A study by Dr. Larry Shires found that homeschooled children exhibited fewer behavioral problems and higher maturity levels than their traditionally schooled counterparts. I really haven't met any homeschoolers that dress like cats and need a litter box. I don't know. You? Have you? No, probably not. Number 8, the flexibility. Homeschoolers often complete their academic work in 2 to 3 hours a day, say, leaving more time for hobbies, travel, family bonding, actually realizing what interests them and then spending their time doing that. I talked to one woman on my podcast whose son loved skiing so much that he would work so hard in the warmer months to get all of his work done so that he could spend his entire winter at the ski slopes. He worked there, he skied all the time. That was just what he wanted to do. He knew from a young age, and that's what he got to do because he was homeschooled. And that's amazing. So think about all of the extra time you have with your life that you can actually learn what interests you. And that's going to make you more job ready because you actually know what interests you have. I remember being 35 and not even knowing what interests I had. So I definitely feel that this is a super big one because in school, again, they tell you where to go, how long you got to be there, what you got to learn. But in homeschool, you get to decide all of that. So the flexibility, it's key. I think that that's just amazing. Number 9, real world preparedness. Homeschoolers tend to score higher on measures of civic engagement, such as voting, volunteering, and community involvement. I would say that this is definitely true because they don't teach us anything in school about taxes or voting. We maybe talked about the presidential election, but they never told us about all of the jobs in government for our local levels and what those elections looked like, how often they were, who could even vote in them. I mean, it took me to be 40 years old to really start to look into that sort of thing. They just kind of tell you vote in the presidential election and let the rest go by the wayside. Then you have really no control over the presidential election anyway. These real world preparedness tasks are definitely what our kids need to know. Something like just growing our food. They don't teach us that in school. How to find clean water and build a shelter. I mean, survival things that we need to know. God forbid there's ever a tragedy. If our kids need to know it, we have to be able to pass that information on to them. We don't know what the future is going to bring. It's our duty to prepare our children for it so that they can prepare their children, and we can keep going on. All right, number 10, the rapid growth of homeschooling. Homeschooling in the US has grown by over 60% in the past decades. There are over 4 million homeschooled students in the United States right now. That's a crazy number. It's crazy big, and it's only growing, especially since COVID. People are realizing we don't have control over our children when they're in these systems. We're taking back control, and they're doing that by homeschooling. So be sure that you keep an eye on these local elections and the bills that are trying to get passed by these politicians, because they do want to tighten our restrictions around homeschooling. It's something we really need to be aware of. There's a reason that they didn't teach us this stuff in school. They don't want us aware of how the bills work and how laws work, but we have a lot we can do to protect ourselves and our family. So thank you for watching. I hope you found this video interesting, and be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss my upcoming content. And don't forget to check out the Homeschool How-To podcast, interviews with homeschoolers. You can glean the insights right from my guests yourself. There's been over 100 homeschooling families on there, so we got a lot to cover. I'll see you in the next video.